Time to hunt. Select your claim predator warrior. Round 1. Round 2. Round 3. Round 4.
Stop!